An inexplicable tragedy unfolded on a quiet street. Hello viewers, in this video, I will tell the story of a 6-year-old girl that nobody know what really happened with her. So, let's get start the video. An essential part of growing up is gaining more independence. But a parent's worst nightmare is when that exploration of independence ends in tragedy. Such was the case in 1996 for 6-year-old Katherine Korzilius, a kind little girl in Austin, Texas who lost her life all too soon. The circumstances of her death still perplex investigators to this day. The mystery has not yet been solved. Katherine lived in a nice neighborhood with her parents, Nancy and Paul, and her 9-year-old brother, Chris. Considering Paul was the manager for rock legend John Bon Jovi, the Korzilius family was well off. They never expected their lives would come crashing down around them one summer afternoon. Katherine Korzilius was born in 1989. She was the 6-year-old daughter of Paul Korzilius. Katherine lived in a nice neighborhood with her parents, Nancy and Paul, and her 9-year-old brother, Chris. Considering Paul was the manager for rock legend John Bon Jovi, the Korzilius family was well off. On August 7th, on Paul's birthday, Nancy and the kids were out shopping for gifts. When they returned home, they stopped to collect their mail from the communal mailboxes. Katherine asked if she could walk the rest of the way home. It was an especially quiet day, even for their calm neighborhood, and Katherine had made the short journey on her own before. Katherine wanted to prove she was growing up, and Nancy saw no reason to say no. In their car, Nancy and her son headed off in one direction. Katherine set off to walk home a shorter way in the opposite direction. The distance between the mailbox and their home was less than a quarter mile. When Nancy and Chris arrived home, they set about putting their things away, but Chris soon realized he could not find Katherine. Nancy sent him out to retrieve her from her walk, but he came back in tears, swearing he couldn't find her out there either. The two of them checked in with their neighbor, who had not seen Katherine either, with a bad feeling in her gut. Nancy continued her search and found Katherine just a few minutes later. 6 houses away, she was lying on the street, and though she was unconscious, she was still breathing. Nancy was torn on what to do. She knew you were never supposed to move an injured person, especially if you were unsure of what injuries they might have sustained. But it was hot to leave a child on the pavement. She made the risky choice to get Katherine in the car and rush her to the emergency room herself. At the hospital, Katherine was found to have a severe skull fracture and was put on a ventilator to keep her breathing. Unfortunately, she was already brain dead. Her father, Paul, was in New York City at the time and rushed home to see his daughter. He was an hour late, as Katherine was pronounced dead at 11:30 that night. The immediate assumption was that Katherine died as a result of a hit and run. But odd circumstances surrounding her death caused alternative theories to quickly materialize. When Katherine's body was found less than 10 minutes after she and her family parted, she was discovered half a mile away, on the side opposite the route she was taking around the circular road. There were no skid marks in the area, and none of the neighbors heard any commotion with the angle of impact. It would be very easy to see a child and slow down in plenty of time. At least in an accidental collision, the more inward Joel Rifkin turned, the more troubled he became. Furthermore, the medical examiner ruled that her injuries were not consistent with being struck by a vehicle. The medical examiner's report seemed to deepen the mystery. He determined that Katherine had not died from a hit-and-run accident. In addition to the head injury, he found abrasions on her left shoulder, the small of her back, her right hip, and her knees. He believed that she had either jumped, fallen, or was thrown from a moving vehicle. One theory proposed by investigators was that she had tried to hold onto the back of Nancy's car on the ride home but had fallen off. This would explain where her body was found in Elder Circle. But whose vehicle was Katherine taking a fall from? And why was she in it? However, Katherine's family does not believe this theory. They hired private investigator Barbara O'Brien. She noted that since it was a hot August day, it would have been difficult for Katherine to hold onto the back of Nancy's car. There were only two places for her to do so: a bar on the top and the back door handle. However, the back door would have opened if she held onto the handle, which would have made it difficult for her to hold onto anything. Finally, Nancy should have been able to see her in the rearview mirror. Private investigator Barbara O'Brien has some evidence to debunk this theory. For one thing, if the pavement was too hot to leave a child on, the car would have been too hot for anyone to want to grab onto. Katherine also had a splint on a broken thumb at the time of her death, which would have made gripping anything nearly impossible. Soon a second, more sinister theory emerged from the minds of the Korzilius family. Katherine was abducted and murdered. When a K9 unit searched a vacant lot 30 yards away from the mailboxes, they may have found a vital clue to corroborate this theory. The dogs picked up her scent, which indicates that she started off down her typical route. The scent was lost, however, and may indicate where she was taken. Nancy believes her daughter was deliberately staged on the street. She claims that Katherine's hair was neatly smoothed down, as were her shirt and shorts. Her sandals were still in place, and even her toes were pointed straight. It's as if someone left her there to be found. After her death, Katherine helped save lives through the donation of her organs. To honor her memory, a mural was painted in her elementary school cafeteria. A year later, Katherine's neighbors in Elder Circle planted a tree and placed a plaque in her name. Her family hopes that someone will come forward to give new information. As of yet, no suspects have been found or identified in this case. Jon Bon Jovi wrote the song, August 7th, for 15 p.m. to pay tribute to Katherine. Today, signs line Katherine's neighborhood declaring a 25-mile-per-hour speed limit. Nancy is considered a possible suspect in that Katherine may have grabbed onto her car while it was in motion and fallen off at the point where she was found in Elder Circle. However, her family has found evidence that points away from this theory. No family who cared. No one would ever come looking for them. Katherine's family believes that she was abducted in the vacant lot near the mailbox. They believe she either jumped, fell out, or was thrown from the abductor's vehicle. This case first aired on the May 22, 1998 episode. Paul now is a board member for Jon Bon Jovi's foundation. Unsolved. Chris later became a senior deputy for the Travis County Sheriff's Office. Sadly, he was killed in a car accident on March 18, 2020 at the age of 32. Viewers, this case also remained unsolved, and police could not find the murderer and kidnapper. Friends, this was story of Katherine Korzilius. Viewers, what you can say about him, please tell me in the comment section. Friends, if you like this story, please like this video and subscribe my channel for more amazing real stories. And do not forget to press the bell icon. Take care of yourself, and I meet you in a new video.